welcome back to another video. Welcome back to the channel, man. So, man, y'all see what we got here, man? We got Jasmine Jade back on the channel in this video right here titled Taylor Swift, Scooter Braun, and the Importance of Artist Control. Now, I did live stream yesterday, so if you guys popped out, I really appreciate you. But I also had this requested in my live stream that I did upload yesterday, which was the 22nd. So, regardless of, I don't know when this video is going to go out, but regardless of the situation, it's already past the 22nd. So, if you ain't make it, the live stream is still up, so you guys can go check that thing out if you guys want to go watch the live stream. But with that being said, I had this video requested up in there. Told you guys I would do it in the video since it's so long and I wanted to take up all the live stream time. So we are here to check this thing out here today. Now, a big thing too is that I always want to know like what actually happened. Like I know people just tell me like Scooter Braun basically like owned all her music and junk like that, which was a very sad thing, but I never know like the deep, the ninny, the critty, the blitty, you know what I'm saying, the jitty, the jiffy, cornbread. I ain't know all that of what actually happened, so I'm pretty sure this video is finna explain it to me. So we have to go and get straight to it. But if you guys are new to the channel, man, hey, consider hitting that subscribe button down below. I know that 15,000 subscribers. That though, hey, let's check it out, man.
Technical difficulties it took to start filming this video. That's Scooter Braun's karma. He is unleashing that shit on me right now. I get it. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Unless you're new, then welcome. Thank you for clicking on today's video.
Oh, she got tattoos. Now, I did not know she had tattoos. Cause I reacted to her sister One Direction stuff. Yeah.
So I'm sure as a lot of you guys know, Taylor Swift is currently in the process of re-recording all of her albums, and since Fearless, Taylor's version, recently came out and everyone's speculating about which one she's re-recording next, a lot of people have been requesting for me to make a video explaining why she has to re-record all of her albums and kind of go over everything that happened over time and what caused all this and kind of discuss the people who were involved. So I knew this was one of the videos that I wanted to do as soon as I started doing music commentary, so I'm really excited that it's finally here. I hope you guys are strapped in and ready for the ride. But yeah, for today's music commentary, we're gonna be talking all about Taylor Swift's masters, Scooter Braun, Scott Borchetta, Big Machine Records, all of those things, so that hopefully you guys can kind of better understand what has been going on. Before we get started with the video, I do just want to introduce myself like I always do. I'm Jasmine. I make pop culture, music commentary, lifestyle videos all rolled into one channel. I study music business, so I love talking about the industry and celebrities and stuff like that. So if that interests you, don't leave me without subscribing first. Check out the description.
She studied music business. Yeah, I know. And bro, see, bro, you know, everybody got a niche in this world, or not no niche, but like everybody got a pathway. Nobody's pathway is the same, and you gotta always remember, your flower isn't gonna bloom the same as somebody else's flower. Okay. With that being said, it's like I can't do no music business simply because, bro, I can barely understand Taylor Swift lyrics sometimes. I don't be knowing the gist behind it, bro, on command. Do you get what I'm saying? So I can't be no music business studier.
For my social medias to keep up with what I'm doing. But yeah, now that all that promo is out of the way, we can just go ahead and get started with this video all about Taylor Swift and Big Machine Records. So we're gonna kick this all off with a section that I like to call In the Beginning. How did all of this start? How did Taylor even get her start with Big Machine? What is Big Machine? Where did it come from? So Taylor actually met this man named Scott Borchetta in 2004, but she didn't start working with him until the following year in 2005 when he discovered her at an industry showcase in Nashville, Tennessee. Scott Borchetta, who is this man that you're talking about that Taylor met? Where did he come from?
Yeah, where he
Just
came
another
from.
CEO white man. Ha 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 ha. I talk about those a lot, don't I? Anyway, Scott Borchetta is a record executive, and he's also the CEO and founder of Big Machine Records, who we will be talking about today. Scott was born in California in July of 1962, which means he's currently 58. Scott actually got into the music business in the 80s because his father worked for big record labels like RCA and Capitol, which this seems to be a trend in the videos that we've been doing, talking about these big CEOs. They always do it after their fathers. But yeah, Scott Borchetta was actually originally in a rock band. He performed with this rock band for a while and then decided to leave the band and stop doing it because they weren't seeing enough success for his liking. So instead of being in the band, he decided to do the behind the scenes stuff and ended up getting into artist development with Universal Music. A little bit later, he was actually fired from Universal Music and then went on to start working for DreamWorks Nashville, which is another music company. He worked for DreamWorks in Nashville until 2005 when he abruptly decided that he wanted to open his own independent record label, which would go on to be called Big Machine Records, of course.
Machine
But Scott
Records.
just said that he
Now, what
didn't
name is that anyway? You know what I'm saying? Like, Big Machine Records. Do people still sign with Big Machine today? I don't know.
like the way that major labels operated, and he really felt that him and his business partner and colleague at the time could do a way better job if they just opened up their own independent label. Which takes us back to that industry showcase in Nashville, Tennessee, where he discovered Taylor. When he met Taylor at this industry showcase, it was literally right at the very beginning of the whole Big Machine idea. This company, this label was not in full swing at all. This company was still in the womb. She wasn't even birthed yet. So Taylor caught his attention while they were in this industry showcase, and her and her parents decided to agree to working with him. Taylor's dad, who's also named Scott Swift, he actually ended up buying a really small portion of Big Machine. We learned later down the road that her dad owned 3% of the company and was a shareholder. So Taylor was the very first
3%.
person who got on board with the whole new label thing, and essentially she made him. And Taylor ended up signing a 13-year deal with Big Machine that would contractually tie her to the company until 2018. This was
That's such a long time. And heck no. Heck no. Because you look at it, right? If somebody want to sign you for a long period of time, you got something going. Seriously. Heck no. I mean, me personally, heck no. I would not sign with no company. I don't care how much money. I would not sign with no country for. I mean, with no. I would not sign with no company for.
Machine that would contractually tie her to the company until 2018. This was
How many years?
2005.
Oh my gosh. How many years she said? I forgot.
She made him. And Taylor ended up signing a 13-year
Yeah, I'm not gonna sign with no company for 13 years. I forgot. Okay, I wouldn't sign with no company for 13 years. Because it's too long. And then on top of that, it's like, bam, if stuff goes left, you still locked in that contract. It's kind of like, you just locked in that contract, bro. Just imagine saying like, you'll be out of a music contract when you get out of 12th grade and you sign a music contract in kindergarten. Hey, bro, who doing that? Ooh, you better watch out, boy.
deal with Big
Why'd you
Machine
sign
that
that
would
pin?
contractually tie her to the company
5 years
until
max.
2018. This
5
was
years max.
2005. She signed a deal that would keep her tied to them until 2018. In this deal that Taylor signed with Big Machine, the 13-year deal, she would get a cash advance from them, which is basically just an upfront payment, as long as they owned the rights to her first 6 albums. So Big Machine basically said, here's this 13-year contract. If you sign it, we'll give you a fuck ton of money right now, as long as we can own the rights to all of the albums that you make while you're signed to us. Now, record deals are very different for different labels and different artists and companies that sign them. They come in all kinds of different formats with all kinds of things in them, but it is really normal, common, and traditional for big record labels or major labels to own their artists' music. That's very common. The reason why these record labels want to own artists' music is because they want to earn the money back that they invest in these artists. So if you sign to a major label, they're typically referred to as the majors, big record labels. They spend a lot of money to shape an artist's career. They'll pay for the album making process. They'll pay for the photo shoots, they'll pay for big fancy marketing campaigns, they'll pay for you to get radio promo and to go be on different interview shows. They give you all that money to help your album do well. So they want to own your music so that they can have that money back. And plus more money. They make the money that they spent back and then some. So the reason why...
And the real eaters with this stuff is the record labels. Real eaters are the record labels. You think, okay, boom. At this time, you was thinking Taylor Swift had all this money. The real eaters are the record labels. I'm telling you, bro. They made way more money than Taylor was. It's how it works. Seriously.
it was so common for them
And you make the music. Damn it. You make the music and they make it. Hell no. Heck no.
to own their artist music is because once the music is out there and it's being used, And that's a lot of money that these record labels are gonna rake back in after they just spent so much trying to shape this artist's career. When I say owning the artist's music, I mean owning their masters. That's a word that's gonna come up a lot in this video because the whole thing that we're talking about is Taylor Swift owning her masters. So a master is basically just the very first audio recording that ever exists when it comes to any audio recording, but in this case, music. So the artist will go into the studio, make a recording, and then once that recording is finished, it's called the master, the very first recording that was ever used. Once that first recording, the master, is done, that goes on to be used for everything. It's copied to be distributed onto digital platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, things like that. And then that first recording, the master, also goes on to be copied onto the different albums and vinyls and stuff like that. So whoever owns that first recording, whoever owns that master, owns all these copies, and you have to get permission from them when you want to license the recording. So whoever owns your masters is a really powerful person. They get to decide everything that it's used for. Without your permission, you don't own it.
And you made
so
the
if
shit.
this person wants to use your song in some terrible campaign that goes against everything you stand for, you can't do anything about it. So that's what a master is, in case you did.
Don't be trying to freeze up over there, bro. See, y'all always trying to freeze my screen. Y'all gotta stop that, cause it's finna get hot in a few more months. You can't be doing that no more.
No, just keep all of that in mind. This will come back up again over time and I'll continue to explain for you, but just keep in mind that the person who owns your masters is very powerful. So just a tiny little recap. Scott Borchetta is working on this new independent record label called Big Machine. He discovers Taylor in Nashville. Taylor signs a 13-year deal with him that allows him to own all of her first 6 albums, and in return she will be paid a fat amount of money up front. So Taylor goes on to release 6 albums under Big Machine Records, the first of which was self-titled and released in October of 2006. Her debut album alone did really well, and it was very clear that Big Machine had a huge star on their hands already. This is actually really interesting because a lot of people that knew Scott and worked with him really disapproved of him signing Taylor in the first place. They all told him it was a terrible idea, she was really young, they didn't think it was gonna work, and they advised him not to sign her, but he did it anyway, and obviously it did work. One of the reasons why it ended up working so well is because Taylor was doing something very unknown to music back then, which was marketing country music to teenage girls. Taylor's debut album peaked at number 5 on the US charts and stayed there for 157 weeks. Kinda crazy.
God,
what did I say?
Bro, that's 3 years, bro. Woo, that bro, long time.
Taylor made Big Machine. But this video isn't supposed to be strictly focused on Taylor's career, so I won't dwell on it, but just know, Ms. Girl was so successful that I can't find a word for it. But as we all know, Taylor did go on to have 5 more very carefully crafted eras with Fearless, Speak Now, Red, 1989, and Reputation. And like I said earlier, Big Machine Records own the masters of all of these albums. Interesting fact about this, Taylor Swift's music Taylor Swift, I don't need to specify. Taylor. Burton to his Taylor, every love and no Nick. Okay, but yeah, interesting fact about this is Taylor's music catalog made up 80% of Big Machine's income. 80% of all the money that they were making to make this record label work was coming from Taylor's music alone. That means there was only 20% of other artists making their money for them. But then comes along Miss 2018, the year that Taylor's contract with Big Machine is up, and she can either re-sign with them or move on to something else. Spoiler, she moved on to something else. After her contract was up with Big Machine, Taylor went on to sign a new one with Republic Records, who are parented by Universal Music. When Taylor's contract with Big Machine expired in 2018, Scott Borchetta did try and get her to stay and re-sign. Obviously, if this woman is making up 80% of your income, you're gonna want her to stay. But Taylor had been telling Big Machine for years that she wanted to own her music. And so when the contract was up, she was ready to move on because she couldn't own her music. So in response to that, Scott supposedly told Taylor that she can earn her masters back by receiving the rights to them one by one for each new album that she put out. So basically they told her, you can re-sign with us, and then for each new album that you put out, you can have the rights back to an old one. So say she re-signs a new deal and puts out a brand new album, then she can earn the rights back to Self-Titled. She puts out another new album, then she could have the rights back to Fearless, like that, which would obviously take a lot of time and hard work. So Taylor said, fuck y'all, and signed with Republic Records instead. She probably didn't say that. That was great.
Nah, she
Go
probably
Taylor.
did. She
Until
probably did say that.
2019 when Scooter Braun comes along. So 2019 rolls around and Scooter Braun, new character in the story, acquires Big Machine Records from Scott Borchetta for $300 million. Scooter Braun, another man, who is that? Well, it's my job to tell you. Scooter Braun is a very successful record executive, investor, and artist manager from New York City who has basically built himself a multimedia empire. Scooter is currently 39 and manages really successful artists like Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber, Demi Lovato, for example. Weirdly, Scooter's real name is actually Scott. All three of the men that we've talked about in this video are named Scott. Scott Borchetta, Taylor's dad, Scott,
what's wrong with
and
these
Scooter
Scotts,
Braun
man?
is actually Scott.
What's up with these
I
Scotts?
don't know why he calls himself Scooter, but anyway, super successful businessman, artist manager, media giant, has all these successful clients. Scooter actually got his start in the music business by planning parties in college. He built a reputation
real?
for doing really good at party planning in this college world. So then he got to go and plan after parties for Eminem and Ludacris. Since his name was going around so much in the hip hop community and different celebrities and stuff, he got asked at only 19 years old to come and start a marketing position for a record label. So he worked in this marketing position for a label for a little bit and then decided to leave that label, and he started his own venture for artist representation and marketing. So after Scooter started his own venture for artist representation and marketing and stuff like that, during that period of time, he discovered Justin Bieber. Justin was only 12. Scooter supposedly saw a video of him on YouTube and decided to pull some strings, make some connections, and basically rocket launched him into a career that we know Justin for today. But unsurprisingly, a lot of people don't like Scooter Braun. Ariana Grande stans especially seem to not like Scooter Braun. She's one of his clients and appeared to have an okay working relationship with him in the beginning, but then we found out that she fired him in early 2016.
Boy, Cat, Ariana Grande, Victoria, whatever you want to call it, boy. That's Ariana Grande, boy. You know what I'm saying?
Okay working
What is
relationship
going on
with him in the beginning, but then we found out that she fired him in early 2016 for a time. Apparently she fired him as her manager over some personal relationships, and then Scooter went on to brag in the media about knowing all this super personal information about Ariana, which is just so weird to me.
And what I chose with Ariana is I could have said a lot of stuff. In fact, my team wanted me to, because they were pissed. And I said, we're not going to say a word. And this is going to come back around.
Not to mention,
You got
Scooter
five,
is not a
meathead.
good person in general.
You got 5 meathead.
It's not just Ariana. He's had a reputation for screwing over a lot of people. Like I said, he taunted Ariana in the media a little bit. He released things that she did not approve of. He forced her to release a really personal song on her album Thank You Next.
Yeah, Ghostin' sucked.
At first?
Ghostin' was something that I had started with Max and Savin and Ilya, and we didn't finish it. And then a few weeks later, Victoria and I came back to it. It's a lot. It's like too much, actually. I was literally begging Scooter to take it off, and he was like, "You're thinking too hard now. This is special, and you should share it with everybody."
When you're making that decision, you obviously talk to these guys. Are you pushing her to put that record on, even though she says or has pushed back?
No.
Or doesn't want to?
No, whatever she wants goes. Whatever she says.
Yeah, Scooter was the one.
Yeah,
He's not
Scooter's
here.
probably like...
Meathead.
Enjoy unlimited
I want
DVR
to call him
storage.
Scooter Braun.
Never worry
Meathead.
about it.
He also planned out this really huge and busy career for Madison Beer, where he promised her all of these perks and things that they were gonna do and plans that he had for her, and then dropped her out of nowhere.
I was signed to everything. I had Justin Bieber in my music video. I had like TV show being planned, movies being planned, this and that, and then out of nowhere it was all gone. No more Scooter, no more Justin, no more labels. Not even my lawyer was the same. Everyone left me. Everyone gave up. Wow. Everyone.
He also kind of ruined the career of Carly Rae Jepsen. He spent a long time really milking Call Me Maybe because that song obviously is one of the most successful singles of all time. So he was really enjoying the Call Me Maybe money, but then really couldn't figure out how to keep that success going. He didn't think her second album would do as well and literally just left her with nothing, just like Madison. He also managed the British-Irish boy band The Wanted, who were really popular back in their
for
time.
real?
They had a reality show, so Scooter was always trying to get them portrayed as these rambunctious, insane party boys with terrible reputations. He just wanted them to behave insane for the media attention. and didn't really care about the negative backlash that would come with that. He also has a bad history of sabotaging radio play and chart success as a manipulation tool. So that's pretty much what you need to know about Scooter Braun. Moving back into the Taylor timeline, he's the one that acquired Big Machine Records from Scott Borchetta. This was announced on June 30th in 2019, and the public learned that Scooter would now have ownership over the masters of Taylor's first 6 albums. So on this day that the public found out about Scooter acquiring Big Machine, Taylor released a statement stating that she had no idea this was gonna happen and talking about how cheated she felt by the whole thing. I'm gonna read the statement. This is what Taylor had to say about Scooter acquiring Big Machine. "For years I asked, pleaded for a chance to own my work. Instead, I was given an opportunity to sign back up to Big Machine Records and earn 1 album back at a time, 1 for every new one I turned in. I walked away because I knew..."
So would that mean that she wouldn't even own the new albums that would come out with it? So like if she owned, so she drop a new one, so let's say she dropped Folklore and she got the Entitled album, would that mean that they would own Folklore? Because if that worked right there, that would have been a fucked thing. And on top of that, see, this is the bad thing about this industry stuff. Behind the scenes and truly behind that junk, it's like everybody is soft back there. You know what I'm saying? You come to me and you play with me with something like that, you gonna have to put your hands up. We're gonna have to fight with it. You know what I'm saying? Because I promise you, you ain't gonna beat me up, bro, when it comes to stuff like this. I'm gonna win and then some. You know what I'm saying? You gonna have to fight me, you gonna have to square with me gracefully. You know what I'm saying? But that'll be a messed up situation if every new one she turned in to get the old one back, that they own that one, because at the end, you just swapping out albums that you own. It's crazy.
Once I signed that contract, Scott Borchetta would sell the label, thereby selling me and my future. I had to make the excruciating choice to leave behind my past. Music I wrote on my bedroom floor and videos I dreamed up and paid for from the money I earned playing in bars, then clubs, then arenas, then stadiums. Some fun facts about today's news: I learned about Scooter Braun's purchase of my masters as it was announced to the world. All I could think about was the incessant manipulative bullying I've received at his hands for years. Like when Kim Kardashian orchestrated an illegally recorded snippet of a phone call to be leaked, and then Scooter got his 2 clients together to bully me online about it. Or when his client Kanye West organized a revenge porn music video which strips my body naked. Now Scooter has stripped me of my life's work that I wasn't given an opportunity to buy. Essentially, my musical legacy is about to lie in the hands of someone who tried to dismantle it. But basically, in summary of all that, Taylor already had a horrible history with Scooter Braun. So the fact that Scott would sell all of her music to him...
What'd she say right now? Go back up, go back up, go back up. This wasn't a full post.
But basically, in summary of all that, Taylor already had a horrible history with Scooter Braun. So the fact that Scott would sell all of her music to him was awful. And if you don't know about Taylor's drama with Kanye, I will run it all down in a very shortened version just so you can understand kind of what happened and why she already had a little bit of bad blood with Scooter. We all know that Kanye and Taylor got off to a bad start in 2009 when he went up on the stage during her award speech to interrupt her, saying that he thought Beyonce deserved the award and literally humiliating her in front of the whole world. Obviously that destroyed Taylor a lot, but over the years after that, they sort of patched things up. She presented him with an award eventually that he asked her to present to him, so things were like kind of okay in the years following that. But then in 2016, Kanye released a song called Famous that featured a lyric about Taylor, and the lyric said, "I feel like me and Taylor might still have sex. Why? I made that bitch famous." Obviously, Taylor was really hurt by these lyrics and grossed out by these lyrics because he literally said, "I made that bitch famous." She thought it was very derogatory and was really hurt by it. But then both Kanye and his then wife at the time, Kim Kardashian, said that she knew about the lyrics and even approved for them to be in the song over a phone call. Taylor came back and said that yes, they did have a phone call about the song, but he never mentioned the lyrics to her. She didn't know about them. He didn't play the song for her. He just called her to ask if she would promote the song on her Twitter account. Later in July, Kim Kardashian released a video of Kanye and Taylor on the phone having this conversation, but nowhere in the video did Kanye mention the lyrics that Taylor was hurt about. And he also didn't bother to mention the music video either, in which he portrays Taylor Swift naked head to toe. Even more footage of this phone call between Kanye and Taylor got leaked later in 2020 though, and it literally further proved that Kanye never mentioned this lyric to Taylor and just left it out of the conversation completely. So this whole time, Kim and Kanye were both painting Taylor as this huge liar and this person who keeps playing the victim and completely dragging her through the mud in the media, when that wasn't the case at all. She was telling the truth. And Scooter comes into all this because Kanye was one of Scooter's clients, and he was completely on Kanye's side in the matter. Justin Bieber literally posted a photo on Instagram of him on FaceTime with Scooter and Kanye.
Scooter Braun bullying me on social media when I was at my lowest point. He's about to own all the music I ever made. But that man Scooter Braun is a damn a snake, bro.
And in the caption he added Taylor Swift. If Justin would have posted that picture with no context, we maybe wouldn't have been able to draw it to Taylor, but the fact that he literally mentioned Taylor in the caption just goes to show that Scooter and Kanye and himself were all in on this and talking about it. So after all that, Taylor finds out that this man Scooter now owns all of her music. So after Taylor released her statement talking about Scott Borchetta and Big Machine, Scott immediately wrote a response and published it on Big Machine's blog. This post that he published is really long and wordy, so I'm just gonna summarize the main points of it so you can kind of understand what he was arguing. So in this blog post, Scott claims that this all started when he organized a shareholders meeting with all the people who own shares in Big Machine. So there was 5 other people, I believe, who owned a portion of Big Machine, and he had a meeting with all of them to talk about this purchase. But in this shareholders meeting, Scott Borchetta told all of the Big Machine shareholders about this deal that would be happening with Scooter, and they were all able to vote on whether or not they should go through with it. In this blog post, Scott went on to say that he texted Taylor about the deal that was going on himself, and he said he, quote, truly doubts she woke up to the news just like everyone else. Also in this blog post, Scott essentially says that Taylor was lying about having to earn back her albums, and he said that he did offer to transfer all of her assets back to her if she signed a 10-year deal with Big Machine rather than a 7-year deal. So in this blog post, he's just basically saying that Taylor is lying about every single thing that she said and that it went a completely different way. This feud blew up very, very quickly and became a huge deal in the media right away. There was even other celebrities who started publicly backing Taylor, people taking sides. Celebrities like Rihanna, Adele, Miley Cyrus, Camila Cabello publicly supported Taylor. And then Halsey also went as far as making a whole post about it. Halsey said, "Taylor Swift is a huge reason why I always insisted to write my own music. I believed if she did it in a way that made my teeth ache like cold water and my heart swell and my eyes leak, then I should too. Because that's how to make someone feel, to drag it from the pits of your heart, to offer it on a platter and say, take some but take kindly. She deserves to own the painstaking labor of her heart. She has surpassed all expectations of what any artist is even capable of. She catapulted her stardom into the Milky Way, and it turns my guts that no matter how much power or success a woman has in this life, you are still susceptible to someone coming along and making you feel powerless out of spite. It speaks volumes to how far we have come in the music industry, the way writers are treated. How as an entertainer you are respected, but as a writer you're walked all over. Even when you are both in one single body. I am standing with her."
But and you see all these big artists be having some hardship to go through. You know what I'm saying? One Direction, Simon Cowgirl, you know, that man right there. Godly. The Scooter Braun, man. Scooter Braun. See, you ain't gonna do this to me. I rock him. But check this out though. Bro, it just ain't no way. There ain't no way. Alright, bro, I gotta stop, bro, for y'all dislike my video. But yeah, man, ain't no way. This show just showed me that first of all, getting into that music industry, it's a no-no. But then too, that's why they always tell you to go independent. And just not these bigger artists are having issues, it's rappers too. Rappers tell you all the time, hey, I'm still not getting checks from so-and-so. I'm still not getting checks from Epic Records. I'm still not getting checks from so-and-so, so-and-so. It's these labels, bro. And they tell everybody to go independent, bro. And the reason why they suck these people in is because they go from a point of when they start rapping out and junk like that, they don't have that much money. I'm ashy. Don't dislike my vid. But they go from this point of like not having all this money, and they get this record deal contract, and then they oh my god, dude, I'm peeling. Look how much I'm peeling. Look at that, my skin peeling. Am I turning into a reptile? Okay, that's not even funny. But anyways, man, so they get the contract. They be like, okay, boom, it's $1 million, and they don't even have $1 million, so that's why they go ahead and sign, not knowing that they putting themselves in a really terrible predicament. Yep, really terrible predicament.
Halsey really said it best. I really love the way that she said that, the way she worded it. She covered every base. But unfortunately, there was another side. There were celebrities publicly backing Scooter instead of Taylor, most notably Justin Bieber, obviously. So Justin said, "Hey Taylor, first of all, I would like to apologize for posting that hurtful Instagram post. At the time, I thought it was funny, but looking back, it was distasteful and insensitive. I have to be honest though, it was my caption and the post that I screenshotted of Scooter and Kanye that said, 'Taylor Swift, what up?' He didn't have anything to do with it, and it wasn't even a part of the conversation in all actuality. He was the person who told me not to joke like that. Scooter has had your back since the days you graciously let me open up for you. As the years have passed, we haven't crossed paths and gotten to communicate our differences, hurts, or frustrations. So for you to take it to social media and then get people to hate on Scooter isn't fair. What were you trying to accomplish by posting that blog? Seems to me like it was to get sympathy. You also knew that in posting that your fans would go and bully Scooter. Anyway, one thing I know is both Scooter and I love you. I feel like the only way to resolve conflict is through communication. So banter back and forth online I don't believe solves anything. I'm sure Scooter and I would love to talk to you and resolve any conflict, pain, or any feelings that need to be addressed. Neither Scooter or I have anything negative to say about you. We truly want the best for you. I usually don't rebuttal things like this, but when you're trying to face someone I love's character, that's crossing a line." Realistically, there are some things that I can see.
See, I like this aspect of her right here because it's 100% genuine. This is what I do on the tube. I come on here and be genuine with you. You know what I'm saying? This is the genuine Jasmine right here when she be coming back with the edits.
When it comes to this feud. But one thing that really confuses me.
Wait, Justin Bieber was trying to defend Scooter Braun?
Is Justin insisting that they don't have a problem with Taylor and that posting things on social media isn't the answer, when he was the one who literally posted a FaceTime screenshot of all of them taunting Taylor and captioned it, "Taylor, what up?" Like, you clearly had a problem with Taylor and you brought it to social media just to turn around and be like, "Hey, we don't have a problem with you, stop bringing things to social media." But anyways, both Demi Lovato and Sia were also on Team Scooter. But anyways, this feud that's going on got ramped right back up again in November of 2019 when Taylor publicly accused Scooter and Scott of not letting her perform her old...
My alarm going off. Let me mute my mic. Alright, the alarm got turned off. Okay.
Music at the American Music Awards. Taylor was set to be presented with the Artist of the Decade award during the show, and she wanted to perform a medley of all her old music. They also supposedly told her that she couldn't use her old music or performance clips in the documentary that she had coming on Netflix called Miss Americana. Scooter and Scott supposedly told Taylor that she had permission to perform the medley, and
this is you. Or at least it could be you. You've been island hopping through Greece with a group of people you
use her music in the Netflix documentary as long as she agreed not to re-record her first 6 albums and agreed to stop talking about them in the media. Because in this time, Taylor had announced that she would be re-recording her first 6 albums so she could own the masters. She said, "It's something that I'm very excited about doing because my contract says that starting November 2020, next year, I can record albums 1 through 5 all over again. I'm very excited about it. I just think that artists deserve to own their own work. I just feel very passionately about it." So we all knew that Taylor had plans to start re-recording her albums so she could own the masters. And Scooter and Scott basically told her that if she agrees not to do that, then they would let her use her music in Miss Americana the documentary and she could perform the medley at an award show. So regarding that subject, Taylor said, "I just want to be able to perform my own music. That's it. I tried to work this out privately through my team, but have not been able to resolve anything. Right now, my performance at the AMAs, the Netflix documentary, and any other recorded events I'm planning to play until November 2020 are a question mark." So the day after Taylor made these accusations saying that she was being blocked from performing her old stuff, Big Machine came out and claimed that it was all based on false information. They claimed that Taylor's narrative doesn't exist and once again painted her out to be a liar. Taylor's rep ended up releasing an email that Big Machine initially sent to them in this whole issue. This is from Big Machine. From Big Machine to Taylor and her rep. "Please be advised that Big Machine Label Group will not agree to issue licenses for existing recordings or waivers of its re-recording restrictions in connection with these 2 projects, the Netflix documentary and the Alibaba Double 11 event." During all of this, by the way, Big Machine was also really trying to deflect some of the conversation happening by randomly stating that Taylor owed them millions of dollars. It was literally so random, just in the middle of their statement, they were like, "Oh, by the way, Taylor owes Big Machine millions of dollars." But then Taylor's team hired a whole auditor Scooter, and they determined that Big Machine actually owes Taylor $7.9 million. They owed her
7.9. Good God.
Determined that
Bruh,
Big
go-
Machine
stop.
actually
Stop
owes
doing that.
Taylor $7.9 million. They owed her, and
Oh
they
my, stop doing
determined
that. Stop
Big
doing that,
Machine
bruh.
actually owes Taylor $7.9 million. They owed her $7.9 million because of unpaid royalties. Why are you trying to deflect with information that's not even true? All of this that we've talked about so far is already so much. But then we move into November 2020 when Scooter Braun decides to sell all of Taylor's music to an investment fund called Shamrock Holdings for $300 million. So Scooter gained ownership over Taylor's masters, and it was a
then
huge
sold
problem.
it
And then
away.
he decided to sell them again without
dog it.
telling her. And in the deal with this investment fund, it allowed Scooter to keep profiting off of Taylor's music for many, many more years. And even worse, when this happened, we found out that Taylor and her team behind the scenes had been trying to negotiate a deal with Scooter for an entire year. Her and her team were already trying to negotiate buying back her music, and instead he just decided to sell it off to someone else. But even worse than that, Scooter refused to give Taylor her masters back unless she signed a very, very tight non-disclosure agreement that would prevent her from ever saying a negative thing about him again. Which really just makes you wonder if all of Scooter's current clients are under some kind of NDA like that too. Why was he so adamant on Taylor signing this really, really tight-knit, long non-disclosure agreement that would make it impossible for her to talk negatively about him? And also, the company that acquired Taylor's masters from Scooter admitted that they tried to tell her and that they wanted to tell her that he was selling them again, but Scooter literally instructed them to say nothing to her and required them in the deal to make zero contact with Taylor. The company was interested in making a deal with Taylor and Scooter, but Taylor wanted no involvement if Scooter was there. So Taylor tweeted a long statement kind of explaining what happened with Scooter giving away her masters, declining the partnership between Scooter and Shamrock, and then also confirming that she had started the process of re-recording her first 5 albums. So Taylor is going to be re-releasing all of her old albums, and she will own all the masters to those albums, thankfully, which means she'll be in full control over her own music, what happens to it, what it's used for, which is amazing, but I also can't even imagine the amount of work that that's going to take. I really, really
much.
admire her dedication to wanting to redo all of her albums so she can own her masters. It really shows that she clearly cares about her music a lot. This whole thing was a wild ride, start to finish. This woman has been through so much. It really is frustrating that the industry was set up for major labels to have so much control, leaving these artists at a great disadvantage over their own literal creation. In our current age of music industry, though, it is starting to slowly become more common for labels to have deals that are a little bit more fair for the artists, such as giving artists a larger cut in the royalties that come from the master rights. So like, for example, the major label will own the masters, the sound recordings, but then the artist will get a lot of money. Before, it was really common for artists to not own their music and then also get paid a very small cut of it, because like I said in the beginning, these major labels want to make back as much money as they can. Or we're starting to see some labels strike a deal where the rights to the master recordings revert back to the artist after a certain period of time. And then there's other types of
Oh, for real? Yeah. So like after a while, you're on your masters regardless.
contracts that are now allowing for artists to have more say in what their work is used for. So that's another good deal to work out, because while it is important to talk about artist rights, there's also gotta be some kind of balance with the label too. Admittedly, yes, I'm all for artist rights, but we kind of also have to accept that these record labels do put a lot of work into these artists' careers most of the time. So it is good to kind of find a balance where the label is making back their money and helping their client, but then also where the artist has control over their creative work and is being treated and compensated fairly. But if the majors don't start cooperating with these things, we're gonna see so many more artists become independent. Over the past chunk of years, it's been more and more popular for artists to be independent and not sign with the major. But I think it's really interesting to sit back and watch. I'm really interested in seeing how the industry is going to grow and change in this way. We actually talk about this a lot in my classes since I study music business, and this whole Taylor Swift situation is just such a prime example. It's always used in discussions. It just really goes to show how important it is that you understand your contracts, that you have someone on your team who can talk you through these things, not just for the present, but for the future too. When you're about to sit down and sign, you really have to think about what these things are gonna mean for you later down the road. Why did a famous TikToker just send me a video on Instagram? what's going on. But yeah, that's basically the entire Taylor Swift feud laid out. I hope this video helped you guys map everything that's going on. A lot of you guys wanted me to kind of go from the beginning and explain, so I tried my best. Hopefully you can understand what's going on a little bit better, but if you still have some lingering questions, you can leave them in a comment below. Shoot me a DM on Twitter, Instagram, and I will happily try and respond to your questions if you're still confused about something, or if you even just want my general opinion on something. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my description for my social medias, and there's also a form down there if you ever have any commentary requests. I've gotten so many really good ones that I would have never thought about. I hope you're all doing good, drinking water, thriving, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Until next time, Swifties.
And she drinking that Dunkin' Donuts. Watch out with that stuff. That stuff got mad sugar in it.
Doing good, drinking water,
look at
thriving.
Oh, damn.
Forward to seeing you in my next video.
Look at that.
Until next time.
They say one of them things got enough cup of sugar, like, I don't know, it's a bunch of sugar. Regardless of the situation, bro, I don't care. You can argue with me, whatever the situation is. I honestly feel like the person who made the music, so in this situation, Taylor should have 60% of her music, and the company had the other 40%. With like profits, all that. I don't care. Taylor get on the mic. Without that mic and her voice, you ain't making no money, Big Machine. So I feel like with them labels stuff, bro, I feel like it should be a 60% and a 40%, because it can't be 50%. And the reason it can't be 50% is because 50%. And the reason it can't be that is because they don't make the music. They don't sing the music. They don't do none of that. So that's why I feel like it should be 60%, 40%. Regardless of the situation, man, finna get up out of here. Thank you, Jasmine Jade, for, I mean, she always put me on game, you know, bro. How would y'all feel if I brought her on a reaction? We react to a video together. I don't even know if she gonna respond to the DM. But what if I get her on a video, because she know a lot more stuff than I do. But I might DM her and get on a reaction. Let me know what you guys think. Other than that, don't forget to get out of here, man. If you believe while I can, if you guys like the video, make sure you guys hit the like button, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. On the way to 15,000 subscribers. Other than that, though, Sweet Boy Koala Karen, I'm out the stand. Peace out. Love you guys.